What's up, y'all? Happy Saturday morning rant. It's gonna be complicated. So all week I'm hearing from folks at the Fortune Society that someone shared my rant. A bunch of people on staff reaching out to me, contacting me, following me on social media, cheering me on, telling me to keep going, because they feel the same way. They feel like they work at an organization that doesn't pay them well, that treats them poorly, where all the power lives in the executive team. I mean, that was my experience. It's been almost a decade since then. I'm sorry that it's still that way. And I would really urge people, like, y'all, if you're getting treated like shit, I left, other people left. Like, don't ever get confused about whether that's the only place you could work. I remember pulling Stanley aside and having lunch with him and saying, bruh, you can work anywhere you want. What's up? So look, don't get tricked, into thinking that that's the only job you can ever have. That's a low ass bar, and don't fall prey to that. Anyway, moving on from them, because I don't know, I just don't want this whole rant to be about them. I want to talk about my man Adam Foss. So Adam Foss would be the strangest partner with me, because he's a former prosecutor. But at the time when this whole criminal justice reform movement was deciding to invest in progressive prosecutors, he was one of the black progressive prosecutors that was willing to say that district attorneys, prosecutors are not doing a good job and the system is systemically racist. Built an entire organization. He was the darling of the movement around prosecutors. They loved him. All the money he needed, all the stages he needed, all the celebrities he needed, all the articles about him. They loved some Adam Foss. And, Adam was dating a lot of women in the field. That's his business. Whatever. People fuck. I know we all act like people don't fuck. People fuck. I know that. Anyway, so he ends up with this younger woman, and she ends up accusing him of rape. And that was it. Like pet to threat. The whole movement shut him down. Within a week, he went from sitting on a pedestal to sitting at home, suicidal, unemployed, family falling apart, and then months later, maybe a year later, ends up being indicted on the charges by Alvin Bragg, a progressive prosecutor, allegedly. And so instead of taking a plea deal, which is how they get most of us to just take a plea so they don't have to go to trial, and he got offered a sweet plea deal. It would have just made all this shit go away. He was like, yeah, nah, fuck that, I'm going to trial. And, I stuck with him the whole way. That's what those are my fucking people. People who are in trouble are my fucking people. If you believe in the fucking Constitution, and you believe in due process, and you believe in innocent until proven guilty, then how the fuck? First of all, progressive people going to the criminal justice system to file charges against a black man, like the whole irony of that shit. Like, you're progressive, you're working to change the criminal justice system, and the minute you feel personally aggrieved, you go to the criminal justice system and you hope up and down that it punishes him. Like punitive punishment, feminism, whatever you want to fucking call it, they came crushing down on him with the criminal justice system. And everyone was so happy that the criminal justice system responded and indicted him. And then yesterday, he was found not guilty. And suddenly people are like, oh, but it's hard to prove these cases in the... Which one is it? It's hard to prove these cases in the criminal justice system, but just a couple of years ago, you were cheering on the criminal justice system that you say you hate, that you're trying to reform, because it came crushing down on him and ruined his whole career and ruined his family and made him suicidal and caused all this harm. And now at the end, the system you put your faith in, woke folks, now you upset because it didn't prosecute him, because he went through a trial, all the evidence was heard, the jury was out for a couple of days, and then I post online how much I support this dude and how happy I am that he can get his life back and start over. And some of you post shit like, well, you know how hard it is to prove these cases in the criminal justice. Which one? I'm fucking confused. I'm so confused. Like, can this black man not get his life back? Can he not get his life back? The jury said, and then I posted on social media, and one of the jurors connect with me. And he's like, bro, can I kick it with you? And then he posts on my page. And you know what he said? He said, yo, I held the line in the jurors' room because some of the jurors were just passionate and like, yeah, but you know, what about the victim? And he was like, what about the law? What about the law? The law says this man is not guilty. And then I went to check out his page to see who he was because I was so impressed as someone who stood up for justice, especially with a black man with dreadlocks when he's in trouble. And he's an anti-vaxxer conservative. I cannot make this shit up. I cannot make this shit up because it feels like everything I know about the progressive criminal justice community. Not everybody. I love some of y'all. But many of y'all, especially the ones that we hold up as our heroes, y'all are some punitive motherfuckers. Y'all be wanting to crush people. Y'all don't really believe in the shit you say. Y'all are fucking performative. Y'all do this shit within your own organizations. Which brings me to the last part of my rant. I want to talk about DEI. Everybody wants to do DEI. Check a box. Bring in a DEI consultant. Usually that fucks everything up in the workplace. Like if you ain't doing the right thing by black and brown people, LGBTQ, etc., you bring in somebody to talk about it with no solutions, you just gonna fuck it all up anyway. So I don't even know why you're trying to check that box. You might as well just continue to be homophobic, transphobic, racist, whatever else. Or you can treat everybody the way they're supposed to be treated, in a way that matches with your stated values. You articulated those values. Care about equity, care about justice, you care about opportunity, care about second chances. If you're actually, you care about leadership, you care about promoting people, except you have Latinx folks who can't get an opportunity in a movement where they're just as oppressed as anyone else. God forbid you say even poor white folks are supposed to be part of this movement because they get crushed by the criminal justice system too. Because that's not what gets you money. What gets you money is rah, 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 as opposed to the truth, which is like if white folks don't get on board, you're not going to undo any criminal justice system because this is America. And if they ain't on board and they don't feel personally hurt by something, it ain't never going to change. But let's get back to the DEI part, which is like y'all have an opportunity to like literally be the change you want to see in the world. And instead, what you put out in the world is quite the opposite. And so the hypocrisy versus the rhetoric, it just doesn't make sense. And why do I do this? Like somebody asked me this week, like, yo, you know you're going to never get invited back into the movement if you keep talking all this shit about foundations and talking all this shit about nonprofit. And this is somebody I love telling me this. And I'm sure he was telling me from the best place. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck because who wants to be in a movement that's full of hypocrisy? All I'm trying to do is like clean out the movement. Like if you're a hypocrite, leave. Go work somewhere else. And if you're not a hypocrite, then you should look at your behaviors and your activities and see whether or not you're actually showing up as a hypocrite and do something about it. And the only people who can hate me for doing this are people who feel like I'm saying something that gets in the way of a system that they really appreciate, that's working for them. And I know this system is working for some people. I used to be in it, deep in it. I know what it looks like. I know what the conversations sound like behind the scene. I know when you're like, yeah, fuck those people. Like, let's see if we could get this money. I've heard it. I ain't gonna name names yet. I've heard it though. I know who y'all are. I know who y'all are, and time changes everything. Y'all in so much power. Like that's the thing. Like y'all just knew. First of all, anyway, you know what? That's the end of my rant because I want to actually have a good Saturday. So that's the end of my rant. I didn't know it was gonna come out like that, but I'm glad it all came out. And congratulations to my man, Adam Foss. I hope he could turn his life around, get his life back. And, you know, if there's anything good about being in a dark place and being in trouble, is that you get to know who your friends are. You separate the wheat from the chaff in a way that you can't in any other way in life. So he knows who's who now. Like, I remember going to people saying, what about Adam Foss? And they like, what about him? I'm like, yeah, but he can't even afford an attorney anymore. Like, this dude probably used to make like 175 grand. He can't even afford an attorney. People like, yeah, you know, I wish him luck. Tell him I said, what's up? Fuck you. I hope that that's where he stays too. I know he needs to heal. He needs to do his healing. But you can heal and you can forgive people and you can forgive yourself and you can move on without making yourself vulnerable to people who wasn't there for you when you was in the dark. So I hope that that's how he handles this. I got nothing but love for him. I'm so glad. And I got love for this weird-ass fucking conservative anti-vaxxer that decided to hold the line on the law. Anyway, y'all have a great weekend because I know I'm going to have a great weekend. But don't let nobody steal your rainbow. Peace.